Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udite Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, third chapter, Pure Devotional Service, the Change in Heart, text number 1. So today's verses, especially the second verse, everybody will love it. Let's go. So text 1. Shri Shukavacha Evam etat nigatiram prishtavan yad bhavan mam dranamyan priya mananam manusheshu manishinam. Shri Shukdev Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, as you have inquired from me as to the duty of the intelligent man who is on the threshold of death, so I have answered you. So duty of intelligent, the Parikshit Maharaj asked, duty of the intelligent man who is about to die. Even in human society, all over the world, there are millions and billions of men and women, and almost all of them are less intelligent because they have very little knowledge of spirit soul. Almost all of them have a wrong conception of life, or they identify themselves with the gross and subtle material bodies, which they are not, in fact. They may be situated in different high and low positions in the estimation of human society, but one should know definitely that unless one inquires about his own self beyond the body and mind, all his activities in human life are total failures. Therefore, out of thousands and thousands of men, one may inquire about his spirit self and thus consult the revealed scriptures like Vedanta Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. But in spite of reading and hearing such scriptures, unless one is in touch with the realized spiritual master, he cannot actually realize the real nature of self, etc. And out of thousands and hundreds of thousands of men, someone may know that Lord Krishna is in fact. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Lord Krishna, out of his cosmic vastness, he prepared the Vedic literatures in the reading by the intelligent almost totally forgetful of the genuine relation with Krishna. Even such an intelligent class of men may be forgetful in their relation with the Lord. The whole Bhakti Yoga process is therefore a revival of the lost relation. So Shukdev Goswami, he put this word in there, and Parikshit Maharaj had also asked, what's the intelligent man, what he should do? So intelligence, the real intelligence is, Prabhupada is describing that to know about self, to know about Krishna, to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master who can take us further on this path of self-realization. That is real intelligence. This revival is possible in the human form of life, which is obtained only out of evolutionary cycle of 8,400,000 species of life. The intelligent class of human being must take a serious note of this opportunity. Not all human beings are intelligent, so the importance of human life is not always understood. Therefore, Manishina, meaning thoughtful, is particularly used here. A Manishinam person like Maharaj Parikshit must therefore take to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and fully engage himself in devotional service, hearing, chanting, etc. of the holy name and the pastimes of the Lord, which are all Hari Kathamrita. This action is especially recommended when one is preparing for death. So this is about the intelligent people. Death is for sure, everybody is going to die. But what an intelligent person should do when he comes to know he's about to die. But as Prabhupada mentioned, there are only very few of, percentage-wise, there are not a whole lot of percentage. Like Prabhupada said, in human society all over the world, there are millions and billions of men and women and almost all of them are less intelligent because they have very little knowledge of spirit soul. So, how many people talk about the spirit soul, and how many people out of them have some knowledge or realized about the position of spirit soul? Hardly any. Text 2 through 7. Brahmavarchas kamastu yajet brahmanah patim indriyam indriya kamastu praja kama prajapatim devim mayam tu shri kamas tejas kama vibhavasam vasu kama vasun rudra vire kama vat virevam Anadya kamas tvaditim swarga kamo adite sutam vishwan devan rajya kama sadhyan sansadako visham Ayush kama ashvino devo pushti kamilam yadet pratishtha kama purusho rodsi lokamatarum रूपाभिकामो गंधर्वान् स्त्रीकामो अप्सरोर्वशीम् आधिपत्यकामः सर्वेषां यजेत परमेष्ठिनं यज्ञं यजेत यशस्कामः कोशकामः प्रचेतसम् विद्याकामस्तु गिरिशं दाम्पत्यार्थ उमां सतीम्. Now Shukdev Goswami is saying those who don't have that kind of intelligence, what do they ask for? One who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahmjyoti effulgence should worship the master of the Vedas, Lord Brahma or Brihaspati, the learned priest. One who desires powerful sex should worship the heavenly king, Indra. One who desires good progeny should worship the great progenitors called the Prajapatis. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi. So anybody for good fortune, they want to do some Navratras, they can follow some Navratras. They'll get good fortune by worshiping Durga Devi, the superintendent of the material world. One who desires to be very powerful should worship fire. And one who aspires only after money should worship the Vasus. So, money, 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 sweeter than honey. So, we need to worship Vasus. Lots of Vasus are there. One should worship the Rudra incarnation of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a great hero. One who wants a large stock of grains should worship Aditi. One who desires to attain the heavenly planets should worship the sons of Aditi. One who desires a worldly kingdom should worship Vishwadeva. And one who wants a popular demigod. So all the politicians should worship this Sadhya demigod, Sadhya Deva. One who desires a long span of life should worship the demigods known as Ashwini Kumaras. And a person desiring a strongly built body should worship Earth. So all the bodybuilders who wants to be Mr. Universe, he should worship Earth. One who desires stability in his post should worship the horizon and the earth combined. So no more changes in job, so he should worship earth and horizon. One who desires to be beautiful should worship the beautiful residents of the Gandharva planet. And one who desires a good wife, Shirish Prabhu, you listening, I hope, should worship the Apsaras and the Urvashi society girls of the heavenly kingdom. One who desires domination over others should worship Lord Brahma, the head of the universe. One who desires tangible fame should worship the personality of Godhead. And one who desires a good bank balance, we all want, should worship the demigod Varuna. If one desires to be a greatly learned man, he should worship Lord Shiva. And if one desires a good marital relation, he should worship the chaste goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. So if you all have some problems at home with your husbands or wives, worship Uma Devi. Now one might think here in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam it was said, in Srimad Bhagavatam only the devotion service to Supreme Lord is mentioned. Why Shukdev Goswami is mentioning all these different kind of worships of demigods? Because in the previous verse, he talked about the intelligent person. What does he do? But those who have still have desire, because Parikshit Maharaj's question was not for devotees. He asked a general question. So Shukdev Goswami is answering that question properly. But we'll see next 2, 3 verses. He'll come back to devotion service. Of course, Shukdev Goswami, when he mentioned one should worship this demigod or that demigod, he detailed worshiping them because it's not the subject matter of Bhagavatam. There are different modes of worship for different persons desiring success in particular subjects. The conditioned soul living within the purview of the material world cannot be an expert in every type of materially enjoyable asset. But one can have considerable influence over a particular matter by worshipping a particular demigod, as mentioned above. Ravan was made a very powerful man by worshipping Lord Shiva, and he used to offer severed heads to please Lord Shiva. He became so powerful by the grace of Lord Shiva that all the demigods were afraid of him, until he at last challenged the personality of Godhead, Sri Ramchandra, and thus ruined himself. In other words, all such persons who aspire after gaining some or the gross sons are on the whole less intelligent, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. It is said there that those who are bereft of all good sense, or those whose intelligence is withdrawn by the deluding energy of Maya, aspire to achieve all sorts of material enjoyment in life by pleasing the various demigods or by advancing in material civilization under the heading of scientific progress. So whose intelligence is withdrawn by deluding energy of Maya aprita jnana, aspire to achieve all sorts of material enjoyment in life by pleasing various demigods. That is a problem. The problem is not with the problem is us getting attached to the material benedictions of material enjoyment, material assets. And that attachment, because of desire, we have this we get this enjoyment or the things, and we get attached to them, means then more material desire, and leads us to attachment has to be there. Soul cannot be without relationship, without attachment. But that attachment has to be with Krishna. That's all. This is what a person who has knowledge, he should work upon. It's not that by worshipping Krishna, by trying to become a devotee, we'll become a stone. No attachment, no emotions, no desires, no feelings, no sentiments. No. Rather, we will have more emotions, more desires, more feelings, more attachment, more sentiments. But all for Krishna. That is the position we have to achieve. Krishna, Krishna's name, Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's devotees, that all are included in the name Krishna. The real problem of life in the material world is to solve the question of birth, death, old age, and disease. No one wants to change his birthright. No one wants to meet death. No one wants to be old or invalid. And no one wants diseases. But these problems are solved neither by the grace of any demigod, nor by the so-called advancement of material science. In the Bhagavad Gita as well as in the Srimad Bhagavatam, such less intelligent persons have been described as devoid of all good sense. Shukdev Goswami said that out of 8,400,000 species of living entities, The human form of life is very valuable, conscious of the material, and the still more rare persons are those who are which contains the pure devotees. Death is inevitable for everyone, intelligent or foolish. But Parikshit Maharaj has been addressed by the Goswami as Manishi, or the man of highly developed mind, because at the time of death he left, completely surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord by hearing his message from the right person, Shukdev Goswami. So this is the real intelligence. But of course, 99.99% of people, they don't think this is the real intelligence. In fact, I had heard about a man in America, and he was somehow, he became very popular on TV. It was sometimes in 70s or 80s, I believe. Why? Because he had a disease and he was told he would live only for 6 months. Somehow, for some reason, people came to know about it, and he became popular on TV. And he was being asked, what is he going to do by the TV hosts? And he was like, okay, next week I'm going to go and do like skydiving. And then the television crew would go with him, and they would show him skydiving from the aeroplane. He's jumping up and jumping in the sky with parachute, and everybody's watching. Oh, how brave he is! He's skydiving. He knows he's going to die. It means he's enjoying the life to the fullest. And then he would again come to the show, and they would ask, okay, what he was going to do next week? Oh, I'm going to go to the mountains and do some ice skating or ice boarding, whatever it is called. And then the TV crew will be there, and they will be filming him doing all sorts of things. And the rest of the whole country was watching him. Oh, see, he's so brave. He's fulfilling all his desires. But we cannot fulfill all our desires. We cannot. And more we try to fulfill material desires, more desires will crop up. That's a problem. And it so happened after 6 months, he didn't die. And then there was a big problem because he took so much of loan from banks, and he had to somehow pay them back. It was a big problem for him afterwards. So this is what we try to do. If today, I mean, we can ask ourselves this question. If today we find out, okay, we have only 6 months to live. That's it. What in the world are we going to do? If today we just get a notice by okay, some maybe doctors tell us, or some Jyotishi tells us, you have only 6 months to live. What would we do? I'm pretty sure one thing we will not do is fight with anybody or talk bad about anybody, or do something against anybody. That's for sure we'll not do. But this point we have to keep in mind. I mean, 6 months is still a long time. We can die anytime, actually. We don't have anything for sure that we are going to live that long time. So we should be getting more and more serious and sincere about devotion service, about uplifting ourselves spiritually. But aspirations for material enjoyment by endeavoring persons are condemned. Such aspirations are something like the intoxication of the degraded human society. Intelligent persons should try to avoid these aspirations and seek instead the permanent life by returning home back to Godhead. So that is the real intelligence. Text 8. Dharmartha uttam shlokam tantu tanvan pitran yajeta rakshakama punyajanani ajaskama marudganan. One should worship Lord Vishnu or his devotee for spiritual advancement and knowledge, and for protection of heredity and advancement of a dynasty, one should worship the various demigods. The path of religion entails making progress on the path of spiritual advancement, ultimately reviving the eternal relation with Lord Vishnu in his impersonal effulgence, his localized Paramatma feature, and ultimately his personal feature by spiritual advancement and knowledge. And one who still wants to establish a good dynasty and be happy in the progress of temporary, partly relations should take shelter of the Pithas and the demigods in various spires. Such different classes of worshippers of different demigods may ultimately reach the respective planets of those demigods within the universe. But he who reaches the spiritual planets in Brahmjyoti achieves the highest perfection. Rajyakama manundevan nirritim tvabhicharan yajet kama kamo yajeta somam makama purusham param. One who desires domination over a kingdom or an empire should worship the Manus. One who desires victory over an enemy should worship the demons. And one who desires sense gratification should worship the moon. But one who desires nothing of material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Shukdev Goswami didn't spend too much time in worshiping recommendation, the worshipping of demigods. He came back right to the point. For a liberated person, all the enjoyments listed above are considered to be absolutely useless. Only those who are conditioned by the material modes of external energy are captivated by different types of material enjoyment. In other words, a transcendentalist has no material desires to be fulfilled, whereas the materialist has all types of desires to be fulfilled. The Lord has proclaimed that the materialists who desire material enjoyment and thus seek the favor of different demigods, as above mentioned, are not in control of their senses and so give themselves to nonsense. One should therefore not desire any sort of material enjoyment, being sensible enough to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The leaders of nonsensical persons are still more nonsensical because they preach openly and foolishly that one can worship any form of demigod and get the same result. This sort of preaching is not only against the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita or those of Srimad Bhagavatam, but it's also foolish, just as it is foolish to claim that with the purchase of any travel ticket, one may reach the same destination. No one can reach Bombay from Delhi by purchasing a ticket for Baroda. It's clearly defined herein that persons impregnated with different desires have different modes of worship, but one who has no desire for material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, Personality of Godhead. So having different desires and worshipping different demigods is not going to actually take us anywhere. And this worshipping process is called devotional service, means worshipping of Supreme God. Pure devotional service means service to the Lord without any tinge of material desires, including desire for fruitive activity and empiric speculation. For fulfillment of material desires, one may worship the Supreme Lord, but the result of such worship is different, as will be explained in the next verse. Generally, the Lord does not fulfill anyone's material desires for sense enjoyment. The Lord, for they come to the point of not desiring material enjoyment. The conclusion is that one must minimize the desires for material enjoyment, and for this one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described here as Param, or beyond anything material. So next verse, I wanted to come to this verse actually. Shukdev Goswami says, Akam Ivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusham Param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desires, without any material desires, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole Personality of God. So previously he said, if you have this desire, you worship that demigod, if you don't do. But now he's a person who has broader intelligence, one who is really intelligent. Even if he has all material desires in his heart, he should still worship Krishna with the material desires. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is described in Bhagavad Gita as Purushottam, or the Supreme Personality. It's He only who can award liberation to the impersonalists by absorbing such aspirants in the Brahmjyoti, the bodily rays of the Lord. Brahmjyoti is not separate from the Lord, as the glowing sun ray is not independent of the sun disk. Therefore, one who desires to merge into the supreme impersonal Brahmjyoti must also worship the Lord with Bhakti Yoga, as recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti in this chapter, yoga is the ultimate goal of the different varieties of worship of the different demigods. Bhakti yoga, thus being the supreme means of self-realization, is recommended here. Everyone must therefore seriously take up the method of Bhakti yoga, even though one aspires for material enjoyment or liberation. It's a long purport. I'll just go over this second paragraph. It's beautiful. A karma is one who has no material desire. A living being, naturally being the part and parcel of the Supreme Whole, Purusham Puranam, has his natural function to serve the Supreme Being. Desireless means, therefore, not to be inert like the stone, but to be conscious of one's actual position, and thus desire satisfaction only from the Supreme Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this desirelessness as bhajaniya param purush sukha matra swasukhatvam in his sandarbha. This means that one should feel happy only by experiencing the happiness of the Supreme Lord. This intuition of the living being is sometimes manifested even during the conditioned stage of living being in the material world. Such superb feelings were exhibited by the damsels of the peace effect exhibition spirit. Kama spirit, or the desire for one's own satisfaction, is fully exhibited in the material world, whereas the spirit of akama is fully exhibited in the spiritual world. So akama means desirelessness, means no desire. No desire doesn't mean one becoming a rock. It means desiring everything for Krishna's pleasure, for Krishna's happiness, for Krishna's service. So that desire is right, completely right. And then it comes under the category of no desire, means no material desire. So the point that Srila Goswami is making here is, even if somebody has all sorts of material desires, even if somebody has no material desire, even in no material desire means a desire for liberation or desire for Krishna's happiness, one should still worship only Krishna. And Krishna can and will fulfill all our desires, depending upon how he wants to do it. So I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, in 8th shloka, it was written, one who reaches the Brahmjyoti, it's the highest perfection. Is it in the comparison to other planets?
Um, exactly where it is written.
Last line, last line. It's
Eight shloka, last line.
purport last line.
He reaches the spiritual planets in the Brahmjyoti. Read the whole thing, no? But he who reaches the spiritual planets in the Brahmjyoti is the Vaikuntha planets, achieves the highest perfection. Is it okay?
Okay. I mean, Vaikuntha planet are surrounded by Brahmjyoti.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably in the current shloka, it was also written one who is practicing for going into Brahmjyoti should also include the Bhakti Yoga. So it means whatever path one is following, he should or must include Bhakti Yoga also.
Yeah, because without that, the result will not be there. I mean, it will be faster to get the result. And this is recommendation by Shukdev Goswami. Akama, sarva kama, va moksha kama. One who even desires liberation, one should, that person should worship Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.